Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
Welcome back to the show. Today we have a exciting special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Miss Red X.
How are
Also
you?
good. How are
So,
you?
doing good. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I'm a makeup artist, body painter, um, basically a multimedia artist and a porn star slash adult entertainer in Las Vegas.
Very cool. So, how did you get into the um, painting and things of that nature?
I was into art since I was a little girl. Um, I was doing like poetry and writing and drawing and all the different kinds of things since I was very young. And then I just kind of cataballed like all of my artistic expertise in many different facets and many different uh, styles throughout my life. So it just kind of fed itself in that way.
So, what is it like to take a live canvas and paint them?
It's a lot of fun. It's very expressive. I like to do a lot of abstract art, so I just go wherever my mind takes me, and it's taken me some funky places, but um, it's been very fun to see the kind of like how you flourish and strive in any passion, see it evolve. Uh, but now I pretty much do everything. I have multiple paintings in my place. I also have started like an art project sort of situation with like masks and tape and origami, which has been a lot of fun. So it's a lot of fun.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool to see that you have a way to express your creativity.
Yeah. A lot of different ways that I can do that. So I'm still kind of exploring it. I don't think I'm ever going to stop, to be honest, but I hope I don't.
What do you think the end goal is for you as far as the artist aspect of it? The paintings and starting to do what you're doing now with the masks and things like that.
With the masks, which is right now, I would think it's probably my fixated kind of outlet. I really just want to get it out to people in production or um, people that maybe are in shows, stuff like that, because it is a very like high character design type of like it needs to have that kind of engagement because it's like something very out of this world. I haven't seen it thus far, not in the way that I'm doing it, and I think that once it takes off, it's gonna find its place. Let's just say because I don't know where it belongs yet. I just know it belongs in the world, like somewhere in the world it belongs. I mean, it can definitely be like festivals, shows, events. Definitely huge with like EDM or festivals around the world. If I can get it to those people, I think it could hit really hard too because it's basically like a disposable character. Um, so yeah, it's kind of like little goals here and there with that, but it is a side project. I have many, many side projects that I'm constantly doing. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds like coming up and expressing your art of capabilities that you're just continuing to evolve what you're doing and trying to make things better and move on to something else that uh, I think that would be amazing to see.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the other flip side of my career can also coincide with the projects that I have, which is my ultimate goal. I would say is to combine the two, like makeup artists for on set, like porn on set or um, production on set, and then also being an actress, like a participant and someone in the industry that's known, someone in the industry that's universal, that the multi like faceted artist type of situation, because I do enjoy every single one. It's not like, what's your ultimate passion or your drive, or what do you really want to bring? I want to bring it all. So like, I would hope that people could encapsulate me and like put me in like a spectrum, instead of like, oh, I know you, you're like a makeup artist, or I know you, you're a porn star, and like that's all. You know what I mean? Because there is more. So
Yeah, and
it's
on your Instagram, I saw some of the stuff you've done with body paint, where you were, had different kinds of designs on your
yeah,
face and stuff. That was really cool.
yeah. Thank you. It's a lot of fun to do that, and I genuinely will like just go out to like the grocery store in it because I just like love wearing it. But yeah, it's hard to kind of get people engaged with every single one of the things that I'm trying to venture into. So I'm doing as much as I can.
Yeah, so as far as getting into the industry that you're in, how did that come about? I'm always curious to hear because I've talked to a few people and it's just how they got into it is kind of interesting.
In the porn industry, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been modeling now since I was 16 or so. Um, and ever since my big weight loss journey. And so it was always like for empowerment. And then I come from a very like old school Arabic family. So everything that I did from that moment on was like an abomination. And so because of that, I wanted to kind of express myself in a way that wasn't seen in past generations in society in those areas. So like the more that I did, the more I felt like myself. The more that I did, the more that I felt like expressing my true form, like what I believe, what I want to pursue, what I want to drive home, like the kind of things that I think that needs to be changed. Um, and so basically it was like the other things, it fed itself. And then when I did more, it never felt wrong. It never felt against my reach. It never felt like against my true self. And so as soon as I started to like live for myself and live towards my true nature, it ended up being that. And as myself, enjoyed every moment. And even though I lost like the things around me, I found myself, and like that. So that was worth everything, and I've never been happier. And so that's kind of how I got into it. And then when I got fully engaged was when I was like, there it is, like that's where it should have been all along. Like the type of people that are there, and like and the people surrounding me, and like the just the freedom of it all, because I think that a lot of us do chase freedom, and especially when you're coming from that kind of a place. And it's just it's amazing, it's amazing to be a part of it, and to do what I love.
Yeah, and I've heard that from a lot of people that you're able to express yourself in ways that you wouldn't normally, and then at the same time, everybody in that line of work, you would think that they wouldn't be super nice people, but I've heard opposite.
Yeah, because it's like if you have nothing to hide and you're transparent in who you are, and like you just you're exposed that like that, you kind of have to be a very like transparent type of person. And I think that that's rare these days, to be upfront and outright and transparent, and like not fake and weird and internally clashing with your own like demons and shit like that. Like you're not able to like let it out. And I did learn a lot about people and psychology and like all that stuff, just doing what I do. um just even the baseline of it, I learned a lot. So it's been very eye-opening, and it's a great way to like expand on yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does, and you're able to, for lack of better terms, be yourself, like you were saying, but at the same time, you're around people who are not going to go, you probably shouldn't do that.
Hmm. Yeah. And like I think that a lot of the like when you have a lot of resistance towards anything in your life, that's when the bad kind of stuff would boil, because it's just like anything in the world, like when you have resistance towards something is when it like, it kind of, I don't know, it ruins the context of your like intention. Like your intention was pure, and then because you're being pushed back, it ruins itself, and it kind of it's prohibited from expressing itself. And so when I realized that like early on, it's like I realized like this is all it is. It's like surrender to what you feel is necessary for you and what you feel you want, and then everything will follow. The right people will follow, the right plans will follow, the right paths will open up, and you're gonna find kind of where you belong as long as you follow it and you're not just like scared or something.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think that, of course, with anything this day and age that people don't agree with, they're going to be, not so much biased, but they're going to be harsh and say things that you probably shouldn't, and I
Yeah.
think that, regardless of what you're doing for a living, you're doing it to survive, you're doing it to have a comfortable living. You could go, drive a taxi, flip burgers, be an actor, actress, model. I think it's subjective to what you think you need.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, and now every day it's like I get to go to like the playground, It's like I don't feel like anything that I do is um boring or mundane or rhetorical or whatever. So, it's nice to have that freedom. It's nice to want to go to work or like want to get up the next day and do what you do. I think that's one of the baselines of like what's important in life, because it is majority of your life where you're chasing a career or a path or something to make money off of or things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And, the some of the people that I've talked to that are in the adult entertainment industry will told me, things like, you're a lot safer than what people think you are, as far as testings and things of that nature.
Yeah, they're the most like clean people on earth, like because of the testing that's constant, because of the upkeep that's constant. You're way more vigilant and way more specificated on your body, on your like levels and like how you're feeling, and everything is so much like brighter and more apparent than it would be if you weren't in the industry. A lot of people out of the industry, they do what they do, and they could give a fuck less, if they have something that they may have gotten, or that where was the next other person, or just regular hookups or things like of that nature. I think a lot of people have the misconception. It's like, oh, you're dirty, and like you're like, ew, I would never like. Blah, blah. It's like, okay, like you're lost, because it's literally like it's like you have to have such a what's it called? I forget the word. Like a high hygiene, like a really great hygiene to be able to work in this industry. You can't just go in there sloppily and hope for the best. Like it doesn't work like that. So yeah, a lot of people do have the misconception for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of people lose sight of, you're human just like me. You're just another person. And, for the most part, everybody I've talked to, just, from interactions like this have been super, super kind, and that's not something you see all the time.
Yeah.
Hardly ever, really.
Yeah, it's difficult to find. Like I said, I think the biggest value in it is just like transparency, because you're putting yourself out there, and so there's not much to hide there, and then you can you're kind of like, who cares after a while, because it's all out there anyway, so I might as well be me. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah, and I mean it's in my eyes, it's no different than having a normal full-time job or being an actor, actress in movies, anything like that, because no matter what you are in, what industry, you're going to have things that people don't agree with, and then they're going to have, obviously they're going to have their opinions, and that's fine and good, but it's one of those things where you shouldn't press your opinions on someone else.
No, no, and I think that people that have the strongest opinions have like the most like boring lives, or they have things that they didn't pursue early on, or feelings that have been kind of settled into their life where they just kind of brush it under the rug, kind of situation. I think those people are like they're just kind of scarred from their own choices, and like that's why they would point their finger and that's why they would bark and make fuss. But I do feel a lot of like sympathy, and I have a lot of compassion for people. So I can kind of read that early on, like when someone is judging or saying something, but I usually don't get that, like just from the way that I confront others about it, or the way that I am. Like I'm not trying to show it off or be superficial about it. I know where I stand, and I enjoy what I do, and that's all there is to it. So
It,
people kind of, yeah,
yeah,
go right.
it's that, and the fact that you know who you are. You don't have to conform to make somebody else like you. As long as you like you, that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the most important thing. Yeah.
So I am kind of curious, as far as living in Vegas, because I have to ask. I've never I've never been out of the state of Virginia. What is it
Oh wow,
like there?
that's crazy. I've have you. So you haven't been anywhere. You haven't been. Obviously, you haven't been here. Vegas is very different than like living here is very different than like the way that it would seem. I guess. Like, of course, you have the the availability to everything. It's accessible, but like Vegas is also a lot more, and it's different when you live here. Like a lot of people that are from out of state or from somewhere else that visit Vegas once a year or less or whatever, they always like ask like, "Oh, how are you not like a gambler or drug addict or like how are you like not like face flat in a ditch somewhere? Like are you like how do you live there, and I've lived here now for well over 15 years, and I've never once gambled. I've never once like tried crazy backdoor drugs like off the street, or like walk the streets of fucking Tropicana or whatever the hell. Like I haven't done those things because it's just not like it wouldn't be my agenda. And it wouldn't be my agenda even though I'm living here. Just because it's there, it doesn't mean you're not gonna you're gonna go crazy. I mean, of course you can, but yeah, and once you live here a while, the strip and everything else, it doesn't seem like it's there anymore, even though it is. You're not thinking about it. You're not like wanting to go out every night, go fucking party in a club or whatever. It's just it becomes um benign. Like it's not worth any of those things anymore, and you want to save the good times for the good times. So, but I love Vegas. I wouldn't move anywhere because I'm spoiled as hell out here. It's spoiled, like spoiled. It's like I can go to the grocery store at 3 in the morning and get whatever I need, or if I'm bored, just leave the house and I'll find 50 million things to do, regardless of when it is and what time it is. Wake up, sleep whenever you want. There's tons of work opportunities out here, so you can get pretty much any shift. You're around people from all over the world. It's just nice.
Yeah,
It's
and
really
I,
nice.
I think that just from what I've heard prior to this conversation, that it's just a misconception that you go out there to be a gambler, a druggie, because you can get that here. You can get that in other states.
Hmm.
Why
Yeah,
would you leave your state to go do that?
yeah. I think also, like I was stating before, like the accessibility factor, like when something is in your face all the time, like it wouldn't be as like much of a I want that, like if it's something that's like that's bad and it's like, oh, let me try it. Well, like if it's there all the time, then like you're like, okay, well, it's not gonna go anywhere. So like if you're
Yeah,
like in unless somewhere else and there's like the first gambling machine you've ever seen, of course you're gonna want to press a few buttons. You know what I mean? But it's different when it's like always there.
yeah, and I would imagine that after a period of time, it kind of gets old, and it's like living somewhere. Even if it's a small town, you get tired of doing the same thing over and over. So you're not gonna get all
Yeah,
excited about gambling and things
yeah,
of that nature.
yeah. The one thing I noticed for me, at least, I have heard, of course, other things from other people that live here, but for me, I do feel the strip never gets old. Like the sights never get old. The food never gets old. Like the things that are here that are amazing never get old. So it's like every time I'm out, I'm like ooh la la, like a brand new, fresh eyes kind of viewpoint because it is amazing. Like and I don't take any of it for granted. So I do enjoy it very much. Like I live right by the strip. I get to see it every day, and it never gets old. Never.
And I would imagine with having a melting pot of different cultures that, not only are there different restaurants from different cultures, but I would imagine there's probably different stores and things like that there as well.
Oh yeah, there's like everything, culturally speaking, aesthetically speaking, like there's very high-end places that, you normally would have to travel to go see, um, and things of that nature. And the great thing also, which I've just recently been kind of seeing since I recently got married and I have someone to go see things with, because I used to just kind of do my own thing, but it's hard to kind of see like the back doors of stuff. So now I'm just starting to see all the speakeasies and all the hidden gems for locals and all the things that no one else would know about. And it's huge. There's so much. Like it's never ending. There's still things that we come across every day that we're like, who knew this was here? Like there's just a lot of things. So it's a lot of fun to kind of treasure hunt for those things.
Yeah, and that's what America was built on, were the little small mom and pop stores. You didn't have a lot of the chains and things like that. So to run across stuff like that and go in and see the niche things that they have, I can only imagine what that's like.
Yeah, it's really fun. I I really I just love the city. The only downfall of Vegas that I've seen thus far is just like keeping friends. Like it's really hard with the type of people out here because it is so much of like a hustle type city. It's like, everyone in for themselves or whatever. Like I don't think that people out here are very good, but there's a lot of people from out in other regions of the world that come here, whether it be for 6 months or a couple of years or even just a summer, that I befriend and I get to know and I love until they're gone. But the people that are near here, like it's kind of hard. It's hard to get your tribe, like the really good people that are gonna stick around. It's pretty difficult.
Yeah, and I can imagine that, just because of the type of stuff that's out there. It's hard to, I know where I'm at. It's hard to get honest people, especially in this day and age, that not only are they're not looking out for just themselves or only themselves. They're there to elevate everyone else around them.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's very much not it's not a like a community type of place for personal gain, I guess. Like I don't know. It's been difficult in that area for sure. But I mean, I'm happy. I've been happy solo, and now like I'm happy to have my best friend as my partner. It don't really need much else, so it's never like a weird thing that I fixate on. It's just something that I noticed, and that I've had to deal with here and there with people. But
Yeah, and I can imagine that, and uh, congratulations on the marriage.
thank you,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. So, as far as things to come for you, I know you have several different avenues, as you touched on earlier, that you're trying to get hands in and try to be successful at, all consecutively. What what are the next goals for you in the future, and how hard is that to kind of juggle, five different things at once?
I mean, it's it's hard, and then it's not sometimes, like, because I have a lot of free time on my hands, and like, since I'm an artist and I kind of work my own schedule in the industry as well, I have the time to spend on my projects or the things that I want to practice on. So it's not too difficult. It just gets difficult when it comes to making money because I need to stay consistent. I need to stay serious in bookings and things like that. And I don't have a manager. I work for myself. So because of that, I get the freedom of time and space and all that, but I don't get the freedom of not having to be constantly on to make means, because it is expensive out, it's expensive everywhere. I mean, of course it's expensive everywhere, but I'm not a hyper fixated person on money. Like I never have been. I don't think I ever will be. That's just not my it's not it's nothing to me really, but like I need to live and like have, all the things that I need for all the things that I enjoy doing. So it's just, I guess it's hard to juggle. It's hard to juggle it um money wise. Um so sometimes I'll book things with, like scenes and stuff like that, or with companies as an outlet for those for the residual income and stuff like that. And then I'll just have more time for the other things that I enjoy doing, because even in the porn industry, there's a lot of things that I enjoy doing on my own. Um, and I just want to put them out there to express what I like enjoy doing. So it's hard with scenes, especially from bigger companies and things of that nature, because they expect skits and a role and a certain character to kind of that you have to bring to work, and it could be fun, but it can also be very much like out of my nature to do. So yeah.
Yeah, I
And then
mean, and I can see that, and the other thing too is a lot of people determine success by how much you have and how much money you have.
yeah,
The successful people determine success differently to each other. And, you can, when you talk about the things that you like doing, things that you're doing that are passion projects, and you can just hear that, it's something, it's not about the money. It's something you really enjoy doing, and money is just a byproduct.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely like that for me. So yeah, I don't chase money or do things out of the want for it. Um, so it's, I don't know, like, and like I said earlier, like a lot of people out here are that way, so they expect to see you in that way. Um, so yeah, but being my own kind of manager and navigating what I do want to do and what I don't want to do, and like fishing it out, is the beauty of having that freedom. So that I don't get stuck in a rut of something that I'm like not so enthused about. you know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And, I think, when people get to know people, regardless of the industry they're in, regardless of the things that they do, if they just get to know people on a personal level, you can almost figure out, not all people are bad. And sure, like you said, there are people out there like that. But, you get to know somebody on a personal level, the view that you have of them changes,
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely does. It's
and that's important.
yeah, it's very important. And it's people are very like quick to judge, especially if they find out that you're doing something that is like something in their eyes is not right. A lot of people won't give you like the space to have to be able to like get to know them on a more personal level, and even then sometimes they won't like take the person seriously, like just based on that alone, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like that, and this is just, from my perspective, but I feel like that, not only are people quick to judge, but it's one of those things where in our society now, you know, people don't really want to get to know one another. People don't want to have that one-on-one interaction, even if it's just passing by and saying hello. And that's really sad, in these smaller communities like where I'm at. We don't have that here either. It's very rare.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I don't know, like I'm a very like easygoing person. That's like the best way I can describe myself. So like when I'm walking down the street, I remember when I first kind of went out here and stuff, I would pass people by on the street and I'd be like, "Hello, good morning." And they're like, "Okay, a little too much crack today, huh?" And I'm like, "What?" Like I'm just saying hi. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're just thrown because I'm being like a decent human being and like I don't know you. Like, how do you think people get to know each other? You think they just like automatically know each other? Like you know, or you have to be associated somehow with a family member or another friend. Like, it's all referrals or something. Like, you have to like go out there and like be open to it, you know? And I see that a lot out here where it's like, bitch, like, I don't know you. Like, I'm like, well, yeah, you don't know me, and you probably will never know me, and that's a fucking shame. Like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong with you? I just don't get it.
Yeah,
Um,
and that is a horrible thing to realize that in our society it exists like that. And in bigger cities like where you are, it's probably a lot more predominant.
yeah. Like I said, it's like a city of you're everyone's out for themselves, and so it's your hustle, and it's basically like you against the world. So, especially women, because especially women in the industry, because they are it's either their place or your place. They have to like hustle you the whole time to get where they're at, and so it's a dog eat dog world type of situation. And it's hard to make friends, and it's also hard to get acquainted because it's everyone is just fending for themselves, or their next paycheck or their next rank or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, out for themselves. And I can remember as a kid, it wasn't like that. And you know,
Yeah, it
it's
shouldn't
just
be. It
crazy.
shouldn't be like that. I mean, you can still you can still do what you got to do and also be like, someone that's like a decent, nice, like open-minded human being, down to earth person, someone that is open to like meeting new people and not settling in traumas or their own repercussions throughout life. Like you don't have to settle there. You can open the door to like whatever it is you're working through. I think a lot of people are just, I don't know, like especially in society, my biggest thing, and me and my husband's biggest thing with people is like the weakness of it all. People are just weak. They're just like, they're walking around like with their traumas on their shoulders and then pinpoint and pointing at everyone else and victimizing themselves their whole life. It's like, you can't go through life like that. You know what I mean? You can't do that. It's not a way of getting anywhere, and then it just grows society even worse. And so we have, I don't know, like we both kind of have a hard time with those people because we're just free loving, open minded, like happy people, and it pisses people off. And I'm like, I want to help, and I want to be there for those that are not as healed and stuff like that. But you can't when they just bite back constantly, because that's what people do when they're hurt and stuff. So
Yeah,
I don't I don't
you
want to
know,
go into about it, but like you know what I mean. Like it's
yeah,
just like the way that I see society now, and so it's hard to navigate your way through it all.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it doesn't cost anything to be nice to somebody, even if it's just a hello, how you doing, you
yeah,
know. And that's the way it used to be. You used to pass somebody going down the sidewalk or going down the street, and you'd wave at them or say hello, and
Yeah. Um,
it's just nuts.
Yeah, like at social gatherings too, because I'll try to like I mean I'm kind of like a homeostasis type of person, even though I don't seem like, in public like that, but I am, and I'm introvert as well. So I enjoy my me time more than everything else. It just I need to recharge my batteries. But like when I do go out, even at social gatherings, like I could stand there with a smile on my face and never have a person approach me and say hi. I always have to do it. I think even the edgier type of look that I have prohibits it even further. It's like the judgment aspect, this people being scared of my presence in a way, or like, how is she gonna be? She's probably a bitch, which I get it, but you don't know, and like it kind of sucks because I'm as an introvert, it's hard for me to approach people. It's hard for me to like come up and do that, even though I'm very open to it. But the minute that someone comes to me, like, I'm all arms. It's just it's weird because the social gatherings is where you should be, like talking to each other, and it's like pulling teeth for me. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I think that with our society, we need to have more one-on-one connections, even if it's through video, and put down the phone, so to speak. No, get rid of the texting, pick up the phone and call someone. Go
yeah,
visit them if you can.
it's almost like a lost cause.
You
It's
know,
almost like completely gone nowadays. It's crazy.
yeah,
Um,
social media has killed it.
yeah, it's definitely killed it. I mean, I've heard a lot of people in the past like few years now say like, "Why the hell are you calling me?" You know what I mean? Like, why don't you just text me? Like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that? I have better things to do. And it's like you're doing nothing. You just don't want the exchange, the personal exchange, because you don't want to do small talk. You don't want to like read off of a script. But the whole point is that you don't have to be reading off of a script. You can genuinely care. It's just people don't. You
Yeah,
know what I
and
mean? It's just
it's
that people
hard to
don't.
hide a conversation when you're talking to somebody, whether it be through video or talking on the phone, like you can with a text message.
Yeah, you never know their tonality, you never know their intent, you never know like if for example, you could say something in a text message. I saw like a skit in Keen and Peele, and I love them, but it's so true. It's like you could text somebody and then say something, and the person can take it out of context completely, and then all of a sudden a fight breaks out, and then you guys are separate, but you never spoke. You never looked each other in the face. You never were in person. And really, there was no beef to begin with. You know what I mean? It could just be spiraling out of control. And it's crazy that people would let that happen and never come back and look the person in the face and say, let's talk about it. Let's
Yeah,
be like an eye person to person here and have like a genuine exchange and then everything would be settled. Everything would be fine. There would be nothing to talk about other than like, sorry, like I didn't mean to, because why would you mean to do any of that? Like that makes no sense.
yeah, and you're not wrong. Sending somebody a text message and they read it and go, "What the hell's wrong with them?"
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I don't think it'll ever get any better, honestly.
No. No, I don't. I mean, I'm a very like optimistic like type person, but like the facts are facts. Like I know that with all the stresses of the world right now, with all of the influxes and all of the chaos and everything else, like it's not making it's and of course like I'm not even gonna get into it, America, but everything that's happening, like everything that's
Yeah,
happening is not helping any of us come back to our natural state. Like it's not helping. So like it sucks that the truth of the matter is the truth of the matter, because I'm getting chills everywhere. I hate this. Like I am like an optimistic type person, but like I know that no, it probably won't. A lot of the things that are happening in nature and stuff like that, I genuinely think that there needs to be kind of like a something like just how COVID was. Like when COVID came and went, it brought us closer. I would say the closest we ever was after 9/11. Not that I'm saying it should have happened, but I am saying that there needs to be a thread. There needs to be something to move people. Something to make people like realize what's important, to make people like open up their eyes and see the world clearly, like instead of like behind the screens, instead of behind like closed doors and everything else. So like it's important to have that, and I think that the things that are happening are worsening for a reason, and I think that it's probably going to be better for us overall. It's just going to be quite a run, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll take time.
Yeah, it'll be quite a run. But
So, as far as where our listeners can find you, where can they find you on social media?
so I have a website, www.missredx.com. On there you'll find all of my links. Also my Instagram, msred.x, so missred.x. That has all my links in the bio. It's like Hubster links. All of them are on there, every single one. So you could find anything on there. Um, and yeah, I think that's it. I have like 3 Instagrams, but if you go on my first Instagram, you'll find my other Instagrams. Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been a pleasure sitting
Yeah.
and talking with you and getting to know you more, other than through text message, ironically. And
Yeah. So
it's been a pleasure.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity and following up. I know it's
Yeah,
been crazy.
absolutely. I know it took a little time to get connected. Me with you know the technology issue side of things, and it happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, I
Yeah.
hope you have a good rest of the afternoon, and I hope to do this again sometime in the future.
Yeah, definitely. You have a good night. Thank you for the chat. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. Thank you.
Down, down.